So an elephant would rank pretty high on my list. Clint, you're wondering if elephants have any predators. Well, I think their worst predator at the moment is us, the human beings, because we hunt them down for their ivory, for their teeth, or the substance that is found in their teeth, for a varied number of reasons. So I think Ellies need to be very careful of us humans. But out in the wild, normally they don't have too many things that will try to get to them. In some areas of Botswana where there's an overpopulation of elephants, there are certain prides of lions that have specialized in hunting young elephant solitary bulls, but it's still quite an achievement, and I think it's only been recorded a few times, or very specific prides in certain areas. Other than that, not too many things will really get to an elephant, because even when they're little, they have the protection of the herd, and the mothers are very aggressive towards any potential predator. I have heard, however, and I know of someone that saw a leopard get hold of a young elephant calf, but apparently there was something really wrong with this tiny calf from birth, and the mother actually eventually abandoned it, and once it did, then this big male leopard came for it. Oh, you're looking very beautiful. Jan, you're wondering if we ever intervene if an elephant has a problem during labor. No, we don't. First of all, it's very hard to try and find an elephant giving labor. They normally try to do it in a secluded area where they feel comfortable and safe, or at least surrounded by their family, and their family members can be very aggressive towards anything that they don't feel comfortable with. But in general, in this area, unless it's a man-caused problem, we would not intervene at all. We would just let nature take its course, as hard as that sometimes might be. Alright. I think they're going into the jungle. These elephants are not making it easy for us. Let's see, maybe if we go back forward. Alright, seems like these Ellies are giving us a slip and they're going into an area that's quite complicated, but let's go over to Taylor and see what she's got for us.
Well, after chasing ghosts for most of the morning, Aubrey called us in. He said that he briefly saw a leopard moving through the drainage line, and here sits what looks like young Thamba. But it is very difficult to see. We're quite far away. We're sitting on Inyala Road south, and he's all the way on the other side of the drainage line now. This is the gap that we're looking at him through. So I'm too scared to try and take a vehicle in there. I already have tried to put a vehicle in the bush, and it's virtually impossible without the fact that we are going to brake this car quite hectically. He's up again. Trying to think, Craig. I think that's actually our only gap at the moment. I can't even see him anymore. I'm looking at him on the monitor. I've also got some form of tree dragging on the front of my car, which I haven't been able to identify just yet. Can you still see him? No, it's difficult to see. Of course, this is unfortunately the only problem now. We're going to just try... Oh, there he is. There he is. Well done. He's moving. Let's hope he comes this way. Now, that's going to be ideal. You might hear me just shouting out to Aubrey just now. I do just want to tell him whereabouts this leopard is, because it's going to be difficult for us. Oh, yes, there we go. Orbs has managed to spot him. He's got eagle eyes. Fantastic. Well, that's good. So I still don't know where Tundi is. Still haven't quite worked out exactly where she is. Looks like she's seen something. Now, Carol, who's a new viewer, you're wondering if this is a recording. No, Carol, this is not a recording. This is happening right now. It's live, it's interactive, so you can ask us questions. You can ask me anything you like. I think you should ask me a question right now about a leopard, just to prove to you that this is, of course, all happening right now. I'll even tell you the time. The time is 31 minutes past 6. not 6, 8 o'clock in South Africa. So he has seen something. So Carol, for you, this is a young male leopard by the name of Thamba. His mother is Thandi, who is also the daughter of the late Queen Kruger, who used to roam this area. And he's a lovely boy. He's big. And what he's doing now, see how focused he is? He's spotted something. Now, because he's quite young, he'll be looking for things like squirrels and scrub hares and birds. And even terrapins seem to be on the menu for young leopards. And I reckon Mom has obviously gone out. She's gone looking for food. She was seen on the dam cam. So we also have live streaming dam cams too. For when the show is not on, you can have a look at them and see what comes and visits the watering hole. And so his mother was there, but now he's obviously quite hungry. Yeah. Hello, Mita, who is one of our young viewers. She's only 8 years old. You said that I get 1,000 brownie points for finding Thamba. Well, Mita, those brownie points are going to have to go to Aubrey, I tell you. He was the one that managed to spot him. Now we're all just going to have to work as a team to try and keep our eyes on him because, sure, we're lucky. Let me tell you how lucky we are with the fact that we've got a camera and we're able to zoom in. Because if I had guests on my car, it would be a very, very difficult sighting to try and show you. And it's almost quite frustrating because there's only small little gaps that you can see. So, you know, these vehicles have got 3 rows. Sometimes the front row can't see or the back row can't see. And it's just the middle row that can see. And it can be quite difficult to try and manage something like this. But it's one thing that you have to understand out here is that this is nature, this is wild. These animals are not in a zoo, they are not tame, they hunt for themselves, and they can go wherever they want. And if they don't want to be seen, let me tell you, a leopard will disappear very, very quickly. Now, Carol, you say that you love watching leopards, and you also agree that he has spotted something. I did hear some francolin, so it could be something like a little crested francolin. Just trying to see, I can hear green woodhoopers in the far distance. I don't think that's what he's going after. Maybe a squirrel, or perhaps he's found the hidey hole of a scrub hare. Now that would be a sufficient meal for him, a nice snack. He is a growing boy. Any of you who have had sons, you know when they go through that teenage phase, what a nightmare it is. You go shopping, you fill the fridge up, you turn your back for 2 seconds and it's completely emptied. You go to their room and you just find, well, the remains, the bowls, the plates, the empty packets and all those types of things. Basically the stage of Thamba's life right now. I'm actually not sure exactly what date he was born on. If any of you know, because I'm sure there'll be a whole lot of you know, please hashtag Safari Live with the month. I can't remember which month he was born, and I know the Royal Cubs, Hosana and Shongile, were February. So he must be close on a year now. I don't think he's quite a year. I'm trying to remember. I haven't seen Thamba in such a long time. I think this is actually only my 2nd sighting of Thamba now, which is still fantastic. He's 3rd sighting, I lied. This is my 3rd sighting because we had that amazing interaction with Shongile and Thamba, where Thamba paid Shongile absolutely no attention whatsoever. But he's doing pretty well. And I must tell you, from the spot that I'm sitting, so he is a year. This is his year month. So apparently he was born in July 2016. So we can't obviously get the exact date. It's quite difficult. So he is a year now. Oh, that's good. So he'll be honing in on his hunting skills. But what I was trying to say to you is that from where we are, I can't see him at all. Not even 1 inch of him. I'm having to look on my monitor now. So Craig is going to have to be my eyes. And hopefully when he does move, it's the nice thing is that we can work as a team here. Obviously we do all the time, but Craig's sitting so much higher up, he's able to see over the tops of some of these trees, which helps us out quite a bit. I would just like to know what he has actually spotted. But I don't think we're going to do very much off-roading down in here. This is where accidents can happen. In drainage lines, you can quite easily roll vehicles. And, well, we could get stuck on many trees, and we all know how the trees like to get stuck underneath my car. I still want to see what's attached to the front of the car, what branch I've managed to drag out with me. We did give it a bash, and then we gave up. We just said, no, let's see if we can come and find him from the other side of the road. But look at him, look how careful he's being, making sure he doesn't stand on too many leaves. See that? How he's not even looking where he's putting his feet. He's just sort of feeling. Because if he takes his eyes off of that prey, If that thing moves, we'll completely lose it. Now we don't have him anymore. We're going to try and find him again. Let's find the next gap. Is he coming here? Or is he still quite far up? Can you see him? Have you got him? Is he coming towards the drainage? Okay, I think oh, there he is. Yep. He's moving quite quickly now. Now, Alex, you were wondering what is the main difference? There he goes. I'm just going to keep the car on and we're going to keep moving. Sorry, you're wondering what is the difference between... Oh, he's seen a Nyala. Here we go. There's a Nyala right here. That's what he's after. We're going to stay here. Sorry, I was just trying to get Mike's attention. I thought he was going to go off-road there. So the Nyala know that he's there. This will be interesting. Sorry, Alex. I've completely started talking about what's going on. But this is what happens when you're live. It's obviously when you spot things like this, you need to act on it straight away. Now, he's not too far away, so we'll get back to your question, Alex. He must be about 50 meters. But for a leopard, that's too far away. He needs to get much closer. Ideally, and this is, I suppose we can chat about your question then, Alex, what is the main difference between cheetah and leopards? Well, one of them is hunting techniques. Now, I can't see Hosana yet, but it's I'm going to watch this gap down here, and I think that's probably going to be the gap that he moves into next. But the Nyala are looking the wrong way, so cheetah chase their prey. They will build up speed. They can reach 120 kilometers an hour, and you can imagine, in order for them to do that, they need to be able to run quite fast. So they build up that momentum and eventually will run their prey down and tackling them with an ankle tap to knock them to the floor. Whereas leopards don't do that at all. Leopards will use these thicketed areas. They don't run nearly as quick as a cheetah does, but they've got a very good acceleration speed. So their charging speed is 24 meters per second. Now, if a leopard can get within 20 or 30 meters of its prey, perfect. Absolutely perfect. If they can get any closer, even better. And they'll normally do a big leap and pounce right down on top of their prey. Now, not Hosana, this is not Hosana, this is Thamba. Thamba's got a very good chance here. Even though he's young and experienced, he's got a lot of elements on his side. The Nyala firstly are looking in the completely opposite direction, and it's windy now. You can see, look how the leaves are moving. That's creating a lot of noise. So he will be able to move a little bit quicker than he normally would on a very still day, because even just the slightest crunching of leaves underneath his foot would give away his presence. And that's what he doesn't want. Now, it's not the greatest views, of course, but this is it. You don't want to go off-roading in a sighting like this, unfortunately, because you will ruin the chance of this leopard hunting. So it's important that we all stick up on the roads. We make sure that we don't move the cars around too much now, because he'll be getting closer and closer. But again, something like this could take forever. Even though he's not too far away from the Nyala, we can't see him anymore. I can only imagine he's edging closer. He could still take a couple of hours. Now, M. Riedel, you're wondering if a leopard would... Sorry, I'm just watching down here. I don't want to take my eyes off in case I miss action. If a leopard would, of course, suckle a youngster of a year, no. Thamba shouldn't be suckling anymore. Normally it's about 6-7 months, sometimes a little bit later before they get weaned. But he'll be eating solids now. Mom's still doing a lot of the hard work and taking down the prey. And then once she makes the kill, she'll try and stash it in a tree, and then she'll go back and fetch Thamba. Or in the cases of the leopards, they'll go fetch their young. So we know that Tandi was down near the dam. She's obviously doing, but it's a good... There's always lots of Nyala, lots of Impala, kudu, bushbuck hanging around there. And I find that the antelope around the lodge become completely blasé because they're hearing human talking all the time. You know, people doing construction, and they're used to loud noises that would maybe give them a fright normally. Let's have a look at those Nyala again. I just want to see if their reaction has changed. They still haven't seen anything, and I still can't see Thamba. But I want to hold the spot that we've got now because we've got view of the Nyala. There's also a big male. I don't think you can see Nyala because he's hiding behind some trees, but every now and then I see his horn. Now, Thamba's not a small leopard. He's quite big, actually. So, theoretically, he would be able to take one of these youngsters. And Sally in Oregon, you're wondering exactly that. Isn't this quite a big hunt for Thamba? Most certainly. I don't know if he's successfully taken down an antelope just yet. Like I said, at this age, you're normally going after squirrels and terrapins and scrub hares and, a variety of birds. Typically, something this large wouldn't necessarily be on the menu. But if he doesn't practice, he's not going to get any bigger, and he's not going to be able to rely on Mom forever, because soon she's going to say, "Cheerio, young fella, I have actually got some cubs on the way, and you're going to have to go on your own." And it's important that when Mom's not around, that he does try and practice as much as he can, also without getting himself into too much danger, because the further he wanders away from where Mom left him, also he runs the risk of bumping into some other predators that might not take too kindly to him. So it's a very stressful time of his life right now. But I mean, if you were really hungry and you're waiting for Mom to give you dinner, and you heard the ice cream van coming past, playing that happy tune, of course you're going to see if you can rummage up some sense and run outside to try and get an ice cream. And that's exactly what's going on right here, is that Thamba is taking this opportunity. But I don't know where he is. He could have also gone on the other side of the bank and done a big loop around. He could just be laying in some of these thickets, but it's impossible. But you can see that the Inyala are completely unaware that there is anything even going on around here, even with us sitting here in the cars. And I am whispering, I'm talking softer, though they wouldn't really mind. These animals are used to us talking loudly in the sightings, but I just want to be a little bit of course, courteous. And you have to be very, very patient in situations like this. I've said the perfect example is Mvula. All know Mvula. For the new viewers, used to have the territory around here, but he's gone into retirement now. He's not really marking and defending territories anymore. We see him occasionally. An entire 3 hours. Next morning in the same spot we'd left him that evening, sitting outside the base of a warthog burrow. And he sat there for 12 hours probably, waiting for the perfect opportunity. And then he made his move just after the drive had finished. And unfortunately he got tusked, and he ended up missing that warthog. The warthog ran away, and he carried on and thought he'd take on something else rather. So even an Inyala can be potentially dead, especially the life of a young, experienced leopard. But it's an Inyala.
So some exciting stuff there with the leopard and the Inyala. I wish I was watching. However, we will continue to try and find a leopard of our own, or anything else that pops up that could be interesting. And that's the beauty of being on these safaris, especially for you guys who have the joy of being able to swap between multiple vehicles, that you get to see a whole bunch. Whole lot more than you'd see as a regular guest stuck on the back of a vehicle. And I hope they managed to resolve. I think there's some tech issues on that vehicle, hence the reason why you came very swiftly across to us unannounced. We saw a glimpse of a bird called a Ross's Taraco, which would have possibly been the fanciest of the birds seen today. What I will do is whet your appetite by getting a picture of one in the book. All the Taracos are pretty, but these are exceptionally so. I haven't seen many of them. Chuck, you said you'd like to see a grey-crowned crane. There is a good chance we will see one before the end of the drive. Good populations of them. Easier to know what to give people when you know what it is they're looking for. So thank you. Now, this page is full of beautiful birds, but the one we got a glimpse of this morning was the one in the middle, the Ross's Turaco. Isn't that quite something? I've never had a really, really good view of them, only kind of fleeting glimpses. The one below is one that you'll see more commonly in the sands, the purple-crested Turaco. Very good, so that's something to look forward to. We will be able to get you visuals of them at some point in time. Of course, we cannot guarantee when. Okay, well, there's good news. Taylor's vehicle is back up and operational, and the Leopard is still stalking those Inyala.
Sorry about that, everybody. We are on Inyala Road South, which is not the greatest spot, but we aren't moving. We're going to sit as still as we can, but these gremlins keep hopping back on board every now and then. Unfortunately, no new developments just yet, other than the Inyala starting to shuffle around now. But the Leopard, I have absolutely no idea where he is. I was starting to tell you, he could be anywhere. He could have done a massive loop around to try and get in front of them. I can't quite figure out which direction the wind is blowing in at the moment. It's swirling slightly. But now, I think he's going to have something else on his, not on his side, against him, as I heard the slight meh of a go-away bird. Now, go-away birds, of course, like to sit in the tops of trees, and they can see down and into this drainage line. If they spot him, they're not going to keep quiet. They're going to voice their opinion about how much they dislike leopards. And that won't be good news for Thamba, because those Inyala will most likely react quite quickly to those alarm calls, because all the animals can understand one another out here. We might not be able to. We try our best. And those Inyala will be running. Now, they actually look like they might be walking closer in the direction of where Thamba was going to. I can't see, obviously this is the view we've got. It's just quarry trees and bush willows and all sorts of things. It doesn't look like there's anything there. Craig, look here. Can you see the Inyala ram? Straight down this gap. If you go in, he's walking straight in the direction of Thamba. I'm just trying to see whereabouts. See right behind those leaves. A little bit further, so not quite against this tree, this other guarri tree that's starting to flower. Like over here, I think that's him there. No, that's the tree. Well, I can see this ram. Big Inyala bull. I think he knows that something is up here, because he's feeding. He's the tricky one. He's sort of around here, I think. Or is he even further in? I'm trying to figure out. Oh, maybe yes. There we go. You're quite right, Craig. That is him. So you can just see a little bit of movement behind those D's and a dash of white and the ear twitching. That's the Inyala bull. Now, I think what Thamba is hopefully going to do, if he's still sitting in the same spot, he might just sit and wait for the antelope to walk right up towards him, though. An Inyala bull's a very big animal, but he's not a small leopard. If he can just grab on and hold on to the throat, he actually should be fine. He should be able to hold the Inyala down with his weight. And, well, if this is successful, let me tell you, he has got a bright future ahead of him. I'll tell you that. Because to take something like this at his age, that's impressive. That is so impressive. And you can't put it past any of these animals. And something we need to remember is that we are constantly going to be surprised by these animals every single day. Even though the books tell us one thing, they never do what the books say. They always do the complete opposite. He's now turned his back. This is the Inyala we're talking about, facing the other way, which is also a good thing. He must be in there somewhere. We have a question from Anna Marie, and that is, would it be relatively easy for Thamba to take on something like a Dake or a Steenbok? Yes, but Those antelope are tricky to catch because they're living by themselves. Remember, they're solitary. They're a lot more alert, I find, than herd animals because they've got to watch their own back. Unless look like what we're seeing at the moment, where breeding season is starting for the duiker and the steenbok. Otherwise, it's a risky business, and they've got such good eyesight and such acute hearing, and Nyala's got great sense of hearing and eyesight too. But I think they're slightly more complacent because they have got others to watch over them too. They have no idea though. These Nyala are completely oblivious that there's a leopard here. I'm just going to try and listen to radio. Orbs has started talking. So I just want to find out if Aubrey can actually see the leopard from where he is. Never mind. I won't get a chance on the radio, unfortunately. Everyone's very excited by the sighting, but unfortunately they don't realise that you can't see anything, so there's no point really rushing in over here. Obviously for us it's fine. We'll just sit here and wait patiently. It's Ellie that's talking on the radio. Like I said, I'll try and get a word in when I can. There's a gap now. Orbs, do you have visual of that, my daughter? I'm just quickly talking to Aubrey. Okay, copy. I think he might be in front of where your Morva is, in that quarry spikethorn thicket. That was where I last saw him, and I haven't seen him come out yet, so maybe he's just lullering there. So we're just talking. So Orbs has got a different angle. He says he also can't see Thamba. But that doesn't matter. Like I said, we've just got to sit patiently. Now, Emreedle, you're wondering what is the size difference between Thamba and Hosana? Well, Hosana's also at that awkward age now. You know, he's quite lanky. He's not small either. He had a very, very quick growth spurt, in my opinion, because Hosana was massive at one point, and now he's sort of stretched out. So he hasn't filled out yet. He's still got a lot of filling out to do, but that will come with lots of meals. So the more that Hosana keeps eating, the bigger he's going to get. And Thamba, I reckon Thamba's got bigger feet than Hosana. I'm just trying to think size different wise. It's pretty difficult to say. I think if you had to put them next to each other and they were standing, Hosana would be a lot taller. Thamba wouldn't quite be as tall. Lengthwise, Hosana's still bigger. He'll be a little bit longer. So, but I don't think there's much of a huge difference between them at the moment. Look at the Nyala bulls now walked right in there. I don't know where to move for you to see him. Craig, let us try and reposition. I'm just thinking if I go forward maybe and we look down here. Yes, I think there's a gap for you.
Rebecca can communicate with us through this earpiece, which plugs into the right-hand side of my skull. It's quite snug in my ear, you'll be glad to know. Comms test, Becca. Moment of truth. Oh! Good news. You can head away from us and our tech issues and go and sit with Ellie and another leopard.
There is my best way up, Seb. Okay, let me just... Alright, guys, we have managed to find Hosana! We're super excited. He's been walking on the road, and now, of course, as the gremlins go away, Hosana goes into the bush. So we're gonna try and follow him around here. I'm not too sure how we're gonna get up there, though. I think I'm gonna have to even go further behind, but he's walking very slowly now. It is quite interesting because the guys found another male leopard, another big one, roughly in the direction where Hosana is headed off to. So we wonder if that is Mbula or if it's perhaps Tingana. I'm not too sure, but interesting. We went from 0 to hero with leopards this morning. Alright, I'm gonna try and... Seb, are you sure? Okay. Alright. Good old Wendy. And it was funny because Seb and I were driving at one point and we were like, oh, there are male leopard tracks here and it smells like leopard quite a bit. Whew. There it is. Alright, we're gonna try and keep up, but we're gonna send you across to Taylor to have another look at Thamba.
We do have visuals of Thamba. He's sitting in the long grass, but his meals have disappeared up onto the top of the road where we were sitting. But look, he's moving now. Perhaps this will be a better opportunity for him. Though I believe at one point William, who is Aubrey's tracker, was telling me that he was about 2 meters away from the big Inyala bull. But I think he might have been a bit scared. And I the car because we're parked up on the side of a slope. Today is the day that I wish that I had a door so I wouldn't keep falling out, or a safety belt to keep myself glued in. But he's keen though. Now the antelope's still a little bit too far away for it to be successful, because by the time he takes 2 steps, Nyala probably would have run up the bank. He needs to be much closer than that if he wants to have a good chance of catching it. I'm also trying to talk a bit softer because I don't want to annoy everyone else in the sighting. We're all sitting on top of each other, but we'll stay here for a bit longer and watch this very exciting sighting unfold. But let's go across to the other leopard on the property, Hosana.
Okay, Gabi, we are now on the eastern side of the road, but keep coming. Sorry guys, I just have to update Mike, who's been trying to come and have a look, but it does seem to be Hosana and he's steadily moving. He was busy stalking birds earlier on, so I think he doesn't seem to be too skinny, to be honest. I think he looks just fine, but clearly still looking for a bite to eat. And like we said, there are reports of another male leopard, a fully grown one. We don't know if Tingana or Mbula, and they haven't given us an ID, but it's roughly in that general direction where Hosana is headed off to. So I wonder if perhaps he's going to investigate. I don't even know how to get around here. Here, Salt, you're wondering what a leopard's territory smells like. Well, the territory itself doesn't smell like anything, but when they send Mark, which Hosana's not doing yet because he's not a fully grown male leopard yet, when they send Mark, their territory smells like popcorn, pretty much. I know it sounds very odd, but that is very much what it smells like. Okay, I have kind of lost his visual, so there he is. Alright, I'm just gonna have to get around some of these trees. Good job, Wendy, good job. Alright, there he is. Whew. Now I'm getting super warm. Alright, we've just got an update from the other guys. This is Mvula that's on the other side. Right. We're gonna keep up with Hosana, see what he gets up to, but let's go across to Taylor.
Well, happy to hear that you guys are on the trail of a leopard on the move. Very, very good stuff. Let's hope Ellie manages to stay with it. There's a whole bunch of vehicles up ahead. It could mean one of two things. There's lots of people that need to use the bathroom that's at this spot, or there's an animal there. So, time will tell. This is one of the few spots where there is a toilet facility for guests to use and stretch their legs. They can alight from their vehicle without breaking line law. And I'm guessing that's what happens. It looks just like a whole bunch of people enjoying one of the lookout points. It's an area where Scar, a big male lion, likes to spend a lot of time, but it doesn't appear that he is the star of the show this morning. It'll be good to spend some more time with him. He's a beautiful, beautiful big male lion. He, just like those other three males we saw before, a little bit earlier on drive, he also crosses the Mara River quite readily. And I think he actually spends more time across there. Now, I know Hosana is on the prowl, so unless it's urgent that you should be rushed off there, there's a very cool predator that's also on the prowl, and it's prowling straight towards us. So I just want to show you some images of this. Oh, what have you got? It's found something to kill, and it's using its foot to stamp it to death. It could be a snake if we're lucky. They are snake hunting professionals, and the way that it's jabbing quite cautiously at whatever is in that long grass makes me feel that it is in fact a snake. If it was another prey animal that would be less dangerous to it, like a little rodent or a grasshopper, I would say that it's not a snake. Please be a snake. I've never seen one of these birds catch a snake. Well, unless that was a very short snake, I think it must have been something else that it bludgeoned to death with its feet. That's their preferred technique. Although one of the and dropping to help disable them. I forgot if I've even mentioned this bird's name. It's called the secretary bird, and it does all of its hunting on foot. It flies from A to B and then starts hunting, as we can see it hunting now. Absolutely beautiful. I wonder what it was that it did catch there. It seemed to consume it in 2 mouthfuls. And it is seriously on a mission this morning, as was that one topi that ran out of the top right-hand side of the screen. Oh yes, and how could I have forgotten that we are doing a fancy bird day? And look at how fancy those feathers are coming out of the back of its head. I would fancy a do like that for certain kinds of parties, I guess. Obviously slightly bigger feathers for our bigger human head, but quite an elaborate headrest that's being flared up quite perfectly by the gentle breeze that is blowing through the plains. The zebra in the background clearly paying no heed to the secretary bird, as they have got no reason to. It certainly isn't going to attack one of them. Well, I'm very happy that we got to see it at least using its feet to hammer down on its prey. It's something that I've very seldomly seen. I'm told one of the main snakes that they eat here is the black spitting cobra, quite a sinister looking snake. Oh, happy to hear that Ginger's got 7 new birds this morning, and for any of you who may be new to Safari Live, I would strongly urge that you start a bird list, because it is a great way to keep track of birds and also just incites a little bit of natural competition with yourself to try and grow your list. Andy, you ask a very good question. You would like to know why on earth are they called secretary birds? Well, the person or the panel of people who thought it was a good idea to name them figured that obviously maybe it was just their secretary, put lots of pens in the back of her hairdo and looked similar to all those feathers coming out. I've never seen a secretary with more than one pen in her hair, so it was obviously a unique case. But that is the science behind it. Savage, you would like to know what is then the function of these feathers, if it not be just to get their funny name? I'm not too sure. I mean, I don't think it provides any major function other than possibly to entice or attract other secretary birds, but both male and females have those very similar feathers. They're difficult birds to distinguish, so I do not have a good theory as to why they do have that funny headdress. Alright, well, Ellie is still with Hosana, albeit just with the view of its tail.
Alright, we have been able to keep up with him. Now, it's a bit of a puzzle what he's got behind this lug, because it's a bit of a tricky spot for us, actually, more than what it is for the small male leopard. But I wonder what it is. And it seems like the other leopard, as I was saying earlier, in case I wasn't clear enough, Mbula is not too far from here, and Hosana is slowly moving in that direction, but it seems like Mbula has managed to catch himself a porcupine. So hopefully Mbula will be there for this afternoon. Are you turning sides there, Hosana? We can just see your head picking through. Alright, let me just go back so that we can actually see what he's doing. I think he's just smelling something. And I wonder if there hasn't been another leopard around here. Perhaps this is where Mbula walked through, or maybe there's something in there that he's trying to dig out, because we've seen him stalk so many little things already. He was looking for squirrels, and then earlier on we were so certain that he had caught himself a dwarf mongoose, but then that wasn't really the case, and he carried on. So I wonder if maybe there isn't a squirrel or something else in there that he's waiting for. It's a bit of a tricky spot. No? Not interested. Okay, he's carried on, so will we. Beautiful. It's incredible to think how much he's been walking. Yesterday morning we saw him at Little Gowrie. In the afternoon he wasn't too far, and then today he's pretty much on the most northern corner of Djuma. So it's quite a distance even for him. Alright, sorry guys, I've just got to use my radio. Standing by. Mike, standing by for you. What stand? That's not an update. Are you on Impala Plains yet? Okay, copy. We're just north of Impala Plains. Sorry, just east. So you should be able to get my audio at least if you just switch off at Impala Plains on via teleaxis. Not too far from Sandy Patch itself. I think. Alright, seems like Taylor is on the lookout for something else, so let's go over to her while we try to find Hosana once more.
Well, Thamba missed his opportunity. The Nyala left him in the long grass. They've carried on with their day. I think he realized that he hasn't quite got the hunting techniques that he needs to take on such a large animal, but a good experience nonetheless. He definitely would have learned quite a bit from that entire sighting about patience, about what you should be hunting when you're that size versus what you'd like to be hunting. However, we are racing off. Apparently Mvula has been found and he's eating a porcupine. How cool would that be? So I don't know how much time left we've got of drive, but I know it's not going to be very much. So we're just on Mvubu Road at the moment, and we're going to jump onto Bubbles or Cut Line, but we've got to go all the way towards Sydney's Dam. He's around there somewhere, so we've still got quite a while to go. But you know me, I'll try and get there as quick as I can, if it means that you get to see your favorite leopard, because I know he is the favorite of most of the viewers out there. He's a very special boy, Mvula. He definitely grows on me every sighting that I have. I just want to make sure we don't drive past anything. And I have a little stick dangling from the front of the car, but I'm not taking off to get it. It can wait. Mischief, you're wondering, how do you safely eat a porcupine? Unfortunately, I have to ask Mvula that. I've never eaten a porcupine before, but I can imagine it would be quite a prickly situation. Typically what leopards will do, leopards seem to be the specialists at catching porcupines. Lions, I've seen more lions with quills in their faces than I have them feeding on porcupines. But they try and flip them over because there's no quills underneath their stomachs. They'll try and flip them over and then go for it like that. So they wouldn't be trying to eat them from the back, from the top of their back where all those prickles are. Speaking of prickles, it feels like my hair is about to be pulled out by this silly cable, this mic cable. My goodness. And then also Thandi is playing games with us, so I'm not even interested in finding Thandi. She's walked over all of my vehicle tracks. Everywhere I've driven, in Mvubu Road, Central, Gari Cut Line, her tracks are going up and down right over the top of mine as if she's rubbing it in. So we shall leave Thandi. We'll let her carry on. And so bumpy, my goodness. Whew. I can't wait for them to grade and refix some of these roads again. Okay, we'll see if our vulture friends are still here. Well, I presume they would have taken off though. I can't imagine they'd still be sitting here. Looks like they've all flown away. You can actually see a couple of them a bit far up for us though. Starting to catch the thermals, slowly moving in a circular motion. Right, so we're just going to keep on driving now. We're not going to stop unless it's super important, because I'd like to get to this Mvula sighting. Tax, can I come join you at that lock just passing the second shortcut of Gallagher and Bubbles Cut Line? Station with Mvula for Taylor. Just trying to actually find out. I did call that I was coming into it, but I had my radio turned off. No one is now responding to me, so we shall just go. We will just go there anyways. But if, like I said, we're very far away still. I don't exactly know where this sighting is. I don't actually know if we're going to make it in time, I'm afraid. And the wind is about to blow my hat off of my head too. I have to hold it down. It's not tight enough. But I'm too scared to let go of the steering wheel and tighten my hat. Holding on, Craig? Bad. It's not that bumpy. Alright, I need to search around here and see if I can find Ellie and see if she's still.
Alright, well, we can't seem to find Hosana anymore, and I see that there's somebody that stopped for drinks, so likely he will not come this way, and he is walking straight towards that area where Mvula is, so I wonder if maybe he's going to come onto this general direction. I wonder, Hosana, where you are. It gets quite tricky around this particular area, so I think maybe it's just worth it going around the fire break and seeing if maybe he's there. Mike, I don't know if maybe you want to go check towards the east, more towards the fire break. Maybe he'll pop out there. He was walking straight towards where Mbula is. Alright, there's another guy that's here trying to help us find it. So I think maybe... that side. Alright. Come on, Hosana. I wonder... I feel like we're going to find him once more. So this is quite exciting. Lots of different cats of creatures all around today. Just as it's warmed up, everyone's come out to play. But wonderful to see him, and that he's walked so much. It is quite incredible. Now I think maybe I'm gonna try driving in once more from a different angle. Hopefully we'll be able to find him before the dry wraps, but how exciting has been this? We've got the young males and the oldest male all around on the property on one morning. That is quite something. Alright, Hosana, we are looking for you. I feel like he's dodging all of us, and the problem is that the grass is still a little bit too long and he's not that big. He's not that big. Alright, Hosana, take one from your dad's book and come and grace us with your presence one last time. Come on! Alright, I don't know if... Sorry, confirmed you have visual. Don't know if he does. I don't think he does. Alright. I think it's going to be a very interesting afternoon. See where he goes, and if he does meet up with Mbula somewhere. Like we said, Mbula's got a porcupine kill, so maybe that's exactly where Hosana's heading off to. Oh my goodness, the excitement. What an incredible morning we've had. Lots of little tiny things, and then of course the big ones and our very beloved spotted ones. Ooh. Okay. Nobody's been able to see him again, and I wonder where he's gone off to. It is a bit thick around this area, and it seems like we're going to call it a drive. But thank you everyone for watching. It's been incredible to have you all on board. We'll see you this afternoon.